I did that Sloppy Wet Kiss, John Mark McMillan.
Oh yeah.
That was one of
Unforeseen
those
versus the
that was
long time debate.
That was a watershed event right there.
But Alex probably doesn't know what that is. Explain to him.
I don't. Yeah,
There's
please.
a song that John Mark McMillan called "How He Loves."
How He Loves. Yeah.
Okay, nailed it. And had this line, "Heaven meets earth like a sloppy wet kiss," and so I let it. I heard the song on a flight to Denver, and it hit. I was like tears. His version.
Okay.
I heard it, and I'm like, oh my word, this thing. So I did some checking, like, hey, what's up with this song? Played it for some of my bandmates, and immediately, even just in my bandmates, one of the guitarists was like, we're not playing that song. And I'm like, why not? And he goes,
we ain't playing that song.
Sloppy Wet Kiss. He goes, ugh. Like, duh. It's like, and I go, I didn't even hear it. I did not even hear that line. And then I go, we're playing it. I'm boss. we're
This is where I put my foot down.
Yeah.
I am boss.
This is the hill I die on. Yeah.
so that Sunday we play it, and man, it split the room in half. I mean, it's like I got some of the most feedback I've ever gotten.
Where? Where'd you play?
At my church.
Okay.
In Waco, Texas, at that church I was on staff at, and the congregation, man, I got word, and some of them were like, that song is the most unbelievable song I've ever heard in my life. That line, Sloppy Wet Kiss, it hit me hard. And then others were like, if you ever play that song again, I'm out of here.
I'm going to the cult.
I'm going down the street. You know where I'm going. They got a great band. So
Crist is killing it over there, man. I'm going to that.
Yep. They play some CCR, and you never heard anything like it. So I started checking on the song. I called people in publishing. I'm like, what's the deal with this song? Because it feels like every church in America should be singing this song because it's about the love of God, but it's got beautiful language that's really colorful, metaphorical. And what's the deal? And they're like, well, in charismatic circles, this thing's taken off. It's huge, but it can't make the leap. It can't go to the more conservative. So I'm like, we gotta fix this. That's what I thought. So I find this John Mark McMillan. He's up in North Carolina, and I'm like, hey man, my name's Crowder. I did your song in church.
You call yourself by your last name?
I think I don't know how I call. I don't know. I think I do.
Oh yeah,
I
but
think
he would know. He would know Crowder.
At the time, I wasn't going by Crowder.
Okay.
At the time, I was just David.
So you called him.
Crowder Band.
Do you remember how you got his number?
I don't. That's a thought. I have no idea.
But
I found my way to him.
Yeah.
And I tell him, I say, hey man, this song's incredible. Any way that we could adjust this sloppy wet kiss line, because it's a watershed event, man. And he basically says everything you said about Corey. Description. He's like, bro, I wrote that because my youth minister died and it broke my heart, and I'm just crying out to God. Like it wasn't for the church. And I go, well, it's really for the church. The church really needs this, but they don't like this particular. He goes, well, there's no way in the world I'm changing that.
Wow.
And I go, well, that's all I need to hear. I just maybe pray about it, and I'll call you in a week.
Pray about it, and I'll call you in a week.
So I call him back a week later, and he's like, yeah, we should change the line.
Really?
Yeah. I'm like,
Wow,
oh
man.
my gosh. And he is such an artist. I mean, he is like a true poet, and that he did open up to do that. It says a lot about the dude. And so then, it took a little bit of time to come up with something that felt still his intention.
Same syllables or something. You had to match it up somehow.
Songwriting is so hard. You got to count syllables. It's tough.
That's
So anyway, unforeseen happened, and I was telling him, bro,
you're talking about on your version.
On my
of it.
version,
Yeah,
I was going to sing this new lyric, unforeseen, and we were in agreement. I'm like, bro, I know it's going to get hot out there. I'm the one that's going to take the heat. They're only
With
going to
the
hate
switch.
me.
You talk about the switch. Okay.
The switch.
Yep.
The sloppy wet camp is going to be super upset. The church goes hard when they like.
Oh, when they dig in.
Oh, and so I'm like, bro, you're going to be in the clear. It's going to be my fault. You're not going to suffer at all.
Yeah.
I'll take it. And so, yeah, I did. And it was, but for me, I had a community of people that our conversation wasn't just like, hey, that's gross. It sounds like a dog licking me. I don't want to think about Jesus like that.
Right.
It was in the same way that people picked apart Reckless. Like, are the intentions of God? Is God intentional in His interaction with creation? And to put in the mouths of people that I'm trying to help understand what it means to follow the divine, I don't want them to think that it's haphazard and sloppy in His approach to us. Now, I get that sometimes it looks that way, sometimes it feels that way, but to as I said, put doctrine, put theology, put words to music that affect the way we think about the divine, I'm really scared and careful about it, and that would be a great example of it. Most of my songs they're not sitting in the bedroom trying to get something out that happened to catch on and into the church. Just because I wound up on staff at the church, and that's how my mind was formed, is I've got to say something that we can all say together and feel good about it theologically.
Well, I feel like the way I interact with it is all the meme pages and all the Christian, like but we're making fun of it like tongue in cheek, meaning I think at the end of the day, we don't when it commercial, we don't care. Or we're making fun of the people that are angry about either side. Yeah. I think
so too.
But there are, just like the carpet, the real at the end of the day, like so-and-so's mad, or like, well, who? And I think they're like, I think everybody that makes a joke about it sees it for what it is, that it doesn't really have any theological significance, or it's not, you shouldn't hate your neighbor over it at minimum.
Right.
Yeah. But it is funny because when you hear the switch, that you go, wait, this must have been a conversation somewhere.
Sure.
Which is funny, objectively funny.
Yes.
What was it changed to?
It goes, heaven meets earth, like, I'm not a singer, but like a sloppy wet kiss. And now it's heaven meets earth like an unforeseen kiss.
When you're alone with a guitar, how do you play it?
Well, that's what's interesting, is when I lead it, I don't say anything right there. I let the people do what the people want. I'm like,
nice.
That's like
that's on you.
Move right there.
That's on you. Yeah,
nice.
Yeah.
That's like Riley Green. He used to have that song about like drinking a Bud Light, and when Bud Light was in the controversy, he just said Coors Light, and everybody's like, "Yeah, it works, dude." Yeah, switch it up, because it would be too. Yeah, and then if you go to some churches, and then that song was everywhere, dude.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, yes, I love his generosity to allow that, though.
Yeah, and now he has a lake house because of that. So he's a very generous guy,
dude. We were doing.
I'm just kidding. I don't know him. I shouldn't say that.
He's great.
Yeah, he's the man.